Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So today what I want to do is take a look at these two water coolers. Found them on garbage day at different times, and water coolers are one of the top 10 things I will always pick up on scrap day. They are loaded with some great copper, sometimes stainless steel, lots of tin, very easy to take apart, and you will find them quite often. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to identify the material, how to separate it properly, and more importantly, how to maximize your profit and divert as much of this away from the landfill as possible. So, going to start just by saying this is a Culligan. It has two water spouts to it. This is a newer style. This, I am unsure of the brand. It only has one water nozzle. It is an older style. Both of them do have some similar parts to it, but they do also have some different parts that you want to make sure you look at and separate properly. So, going to start as well by saying, because these have a compressor and Freon inside of them, these unfortunately are illegal to go ahead and cut the copper tubing to release that gas on your own. So you do have to have a professional come in and do that. Some people have mentioned how expensive it can be, and it does depend on where you live, but one suggestion would be to store them up. These air conditioners, dehumidifiers, if you have a huge pile of them and have someone come out and do them all at once, you will save money that way. I have also heard some people have government incentives, recycling programs where they live, whereby they can take these items there, get them flushed for free so that this harmful gas does not get released to the atmosphere. So here we go. We're going to start. This is the back of the Culligan. This is the front. Both of these are, unfortunately, the panel is made of thick plastic. And here in southwestern Ontario, I don't get any value at a scrapyard for these big pieces of plastic. I do have some of my viewers from out east who actually will get paid per poundage for plastic like this. So that is great that they are getting some type of government incentive. I wish that the government here in Ontario would climb on board of that as well. But no matter, because it is thicker plastic, I am going to try and put it in my recycling. If they do not accept it, unfortunately, it will be garbage. But make sure you check with your area to see if they will pay you at a scrapyard for plastic. The rest of this, both of these do have a very nice metallic grill to the back. As you can see, it is, or they do have screws that run down this, that connects this. And if you put a magnet to it, the magnet is magnetic. So that means that this whole grill here is going to be tin. You do want to check the hose running a magnet down it. Sometimes you will have pieces of copper that connects to it, and it is also painted black. So copper is non-magnetic. This entire thing is magnetic, so this is tin. Gonna give me right now about 8 cents a pound. It has gone down about a couple cents from last week. It was 10 to 14 cents, depending on where you were in southwestern Ontario. But no matter, 8 cents a pound is still a great price for tin, and it does not take a lot of tin to add up weight. They both also have a small rectangular box on them here that does have some brass prongs. I will open one of these in a minute. There is some brass. The rest of this outer shell is magnetic, so it's going to be tin. But you do want to open that to get the brass out of it. And the rest of this, there is going to be a beautiful copper coil that runs all the way down this to the compressor, which you see right here. This does have a type of insulation on it. I've pulled it off, scratched it to reveal right here the nice copper look. Because this is heavily tarnished here, this would actually be classified as number 2 copper, as well as it had the Freon running through it. But if I soak it in a vinegar solution that I have, it will remove the discoloration of that. It will also remove the type of oil substance inside, and I can upgrade this to number 1. Number 2 copper right now going for about $4.17 a pound. So it still is a great price. It has dropped about 20 cents, but still over the $4 mark Canadian. You do also want to check any parts of soldering. The soldering is automatically going to be number 2. But once I clean this, the rest of this is actually going to be number 1 copper. So about 12 cents more, going for about $4.30 a pound. So you do want to upgrade this. I have seen some people bring this entire thing in as is and get the number 2 copper, whereby they could have just made a couple small incisions on the soldering part and upgraded the rest. It does also have right here a nice little spool of copper. This is the copper color, and a small dryer. These dryers, you can actually open these up and upgrade. Right now, this would be number 2 copper, but very easy to upgrade, make an incision in this, and get number 1 price. I do actually have a video showing you how to upgrade these dryers, and I will include the video link in my description for that, so go check that out, because these are great items too that you want to make sure you get the max value you can from it. As you can see on the top, this is the top of it. There is right here a metallic and magnetic plate. This too is tin, but inside of here, even though this is plastic, you do want to make sure that you unscrew this right here, pop this off, because inside of this piece of plastic, I have another example, is a huge spool of copper. It does have a type of wax inside of it, and I'm actually just going to throw this right on my bonfire or heat it up, see if I can melt it out after scraping out as much as I can. But look at that nice score of copper. This too is going to actually be number 2 copper because it does have lots of soldering on it. But again, number 2 copper is still a great price. I do have to make sure as well I clean out the little bit of insulation in here. It's going to go into the garbage. But that is what you will see in one of these. You can actually just see, depending on the light, there is the little coils you see there. So this will break off with a hammer. Okay, and the last thing that comes with this is the power cord. Very nice power cord, very thick. I have seen a lot of people just actually drive by, take this small item, and leave the rest. And this too is a good score. This right now is going to be classified as your 40% appliance wire because it has an outer coating of plastic. Inside it has 2 or 3 strands of coated plastic as well on these strands of copper. So right now, 40% appliance wire is going for about $1.36 a pound Canadian. And there is definitely a pound here. This is a very thick and long cord. It does also have some really nice brass prongs to it. You can see that is yellow brass. Yellow brass right now is going for about $3.05 a pound Canadian. I will take these off and put them into my brass bucket. Some people leave these on for the weight. If you only have 1 or 2 cords, I don't think it really matters, but I'm looking long term. I have a huge bucket of prongs and it does add up quickly. So it does depend on your stockpile, depends on your type of scrapping. But for me, that is worth taking off. And again, very nice appliance wire, over a pound for sure, 40% appliance wire, as well as some tin here. These wires here, because they are individual, 1 coating of plastic, these are gonna be your higher value. This is classified as 60% appliance wire, and this is actually going for $2.36 a pound. So almost $1 more for this, and well worth your time separating it, getting that extra money. And you definitely want to make sure that you separate them as you go along with your scrapping. I made a mistake a long time ago of waiting until the night before to separate it all. It took hours, so do it as you are scrapping, cut down on hours, and maximize that profit. So again, some more tin here at 8 cents a pound, and some great appliance wire. The compressor here, I do have separate videos showing you how to open these. Very easy to do, and I will include the link in my description to the full teardown of one of these. Very simple, as mentioned. There is oil in here, so you do have to be careful. But some people will leave these whole. There is at scrapyards compressor weight price. These as sealed units are going for 19 cents a pound Canadian. And this weighs about 15 pounds. Some of them, the big ones, you can get some that are cylindrical, will be about 25 pounds. So this one at 15 pounds at 19 cents a pound, still gonna get money for it. But inside of it, they always have a beautiful copper bearing motor. This is all going to be number 2 copper and going to be worth a lot more money taking the time and opening this. I only used 1 and a bit grinding disc to open both of these sealed units, And again, going to do final weights at the end. I will include the final copper weight for all of this, but look at that beautiful copper inside. I have seen 1 out of probably 100 motors I've taken apart as aluminum windings. Most of these are going to be copper. Just going to do a scratch test to show you. Okay, so there you go. I am not sure exactly why, but I did hear one of my viewers commented the reason they use copper is because if they used aluminum windings, they would get too hot and the motor would burn out. Not sure. I'm thinking that's a great explanation, but if you know the real answer, if that is it, please comment down below. But some great copper inside. Okay, this older style, very similar in components. It too has a really nice coil here. It does have the control panel. It has the beautiful dryer here too. I'm just gonna quickly see if I can tear this. This too actually has 2 coils of copper. There is a big one and a small one. You can see 2 individual ones. It has a lot of corrosion on certain parts, not all the way, but again, run that right through my vinegar solution. Going all the way down this, you can see very, very little soldering. Just the little piece right here I would cut off. The rest of this tube is going to be number 1 once I clean it. So upgrading that copper. Okay, it too has right here the small control panel. And what's different about this one actually has a bucket. So actually just going to cut this so I can use it or get close without impeding my view or your view. So just cutting it right now with a pair of, trying to do it here. My blade is a little dull on this pair of vice grips, but there we go. Okay, so we're gonna just look at this. What's different about this, there's the bucket inside. It does have a small coating, but once I open this, I have my knife. Where is my knife? Not on me. So just gonna rip it, no matter. What's great about this one, look at that. Instead of having your white cylindrical spot here, this one has the coils going right around this bucket. I just have to work it off. I can easily just untangle it, hit it with a hammer. It will come off. There is a small little bit of soldering. But this bucket here, if I put a magnet to it, you can see it is non-magnetic. So that means that this bucket is either going to be aluminum or stainless steel. Both non-magnetic stainless steel and aluminum, they don't rust. The good stainless steel, because it has a nice coating with it or a component with it that makes it non-rusting, and it obviously shows you if you're going to have water in it, you don't want rust in your drinking water. But one way to tell if this is aluminum or good stainless steel, first test, as I said, non-magnetic. The second test is a spark test. If I hit this with a grinder and it sparks, it means it's going to be stainless steel. If it doesn't spark, it's aluminum. So if it's aluminum, it's going for about 50 cents a pound. If it is stainless steel, it's going to go for about 70 to 77 cents a pound. So I have my grinder right here. Just going to show you a quick test. Okay, so that does not spark. So this is going to be aluminum, and this is a nice thick piece of aluminum. So 50 cents a pound, that's great. I'm just going to try on this side too, just to see if I can produce. No. So again, a nice piece of aluminum, a beautiful copper coil to this. Okay. The last thing, I am going to open up this little dial just to show you what's inside of it. This does have a couple screws. So just need to get these screws. Where is my screwdriver? Moving some parts around and pieces. Gotta look for my tools. Here we go. Okay, so just gonna show you what's inside this. Oh, maybe use a real screwdriver. I can find my screwdriver. There it is. I thought I had all my parts right here. Okay, so a lot more wire connected to this control panel. Again, as mentioned, There are pieces of brass. Okay, so I'm gonna clear this out of here. Again, nice dryer here. This is exactly where you want to rub that magnet against it. So again, if I have my magnet will connect just to see where the tin stops. The tin will go all the way up to that dryer. So you want to make sure that you get right as close as you can to that copper, but you got to make sure that you do not have any tin or steel that is connected to the copper, because they will downgrade you, unfortunately. But again, nice tin there. My control panel, as mentioned here, again, is a little bit more one coating of plastic, some more 60% appliance wire. And this I'm actually just gonna hit open with a hammer just to show you very quickly. Okay, so inside of it, there is a small bit of brass there, some more yellow brass. Look at the yellow brass in that box you see. This too is gonna have, right here, a little bit of copper here. This is copper, but on there is a small little dial or dot. That is actually silver. This is a relay box, and as you can see, if I put this up to a camera just as an example, that little dot you see there, where is it? Nope, sorry, right, my finger was on it. That little smudge on that silver dot is actually silver. So it's not a lot, but it's still silver. The rest of this is gonna be brass, some more yellow brass. So you do wanna open these up for sure. Get that brass, and if you are like me, who gets into some small precious metal recovery, there is a little bit of silver. I will cut that off. I have a little vial for my silver recovery, and hopefully one day I will make a nice bouillon with it. But no matter, there is, as you can see, some copper in here. So this too is gonna be number 1 copper and some yellow brass. So you do wanna open those control panels. The rest of this compressor, as mentioned, is going to be, once I remove the rest of it, there is a little bit of dirty cast on here, but I will just leave this as is. Get tin price for this, okay? Very easy to open these. And again, I do have a full video showing you how to open them from start to finish, as well as the copper. Very simple to get this off. I'm just gonna use a grinder and grind down that side. I will even do a start for you for this one, just to show you. I always, when I'm doing copper or any type of grinding with these types of good metals, I will always have like a catch basin here. This is going to produce some copper dust, and I always just catch it with that, and I will be able to make sure that I put it into my number 2 copper bag, because I don't want to lose any. Some people say that they use side cutters for this. Some people use hacksaws. I like to use a grinder because it's quick and effective, and again, very easy to do. And I will do that just for a couple seconds, just to start one, okay, just to show you. But very easy, as mentioned. I'm gonna hold this side. I always hold it with something, just so I don't have to have my fingers near it. But here we go. There you go. Very simple to cut that. Once this is cut out, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in my vise. There we go. Just do that. And I'm just going to punch it out, go downwards. And this, because it has oil on it, acts as a nice lubricant. It will actually make this coil slide right out. The rest of this case will be put into my tin, so I'm not losing any money there. So I will also include in my description comparing the sealed compressor weight price compared to the tin and number 2 copper separated. So to show you how worth it is, or how much it's worth it to you, in my opinion, I don't pass them up. I have never brought them in as sealed units because, as mentioned, a lot better copper price. And copper is one of those items that, in my opinion, will continue to climb. Even though it has dropped a little bit, it will go over $5 very soon. Copper, brass, 2 items that I just store up and wait for a high price. And that's another question I had from another viewer. Do I stockpile my stuff now that prices have gone down? Tin I don't stockpile because it quickly builds up too much bulk, and I need to get it out of the garage. But copper and brass, two items that I will continue to stockpile and wait for that high price. The rest of this is, as mentioned, the panels, gonna put in recycle. Lots of great cords here. I should also mention the one thing about this compressor that was a little bit different is this compressor, they always have a side black box to them. And this one actually had a small coil of copper as well on the control box. So that too is gonna be classified as number 2 copper, not only because of the oil, but when you're looking at copper wire, because this copper wire is thinner than 16 gauge, which is the thickness of the lead of a pencil, it's going to be number 2 copper. So again, copper will come from all forms here. This one did not have that coil, but it did have just a black box with a couple small little boxes like this. It does have some brass on it, a little bit of prongs inside. So you do want to make sure you open up these side black boxes. And again, on my video with compressors, I will show you that as well. So again, awesome items. Both of them relatively built the same, but you do want to make sure you check to see. Some of them will have the copper coil hidden in a plastic funnel. Some of them will have it right around the bucket like this. But again, two excellent items. One of my top 10 items I will always pick up. And again, because of that great copper. So I will include in my description as well, full copper weight from both of these. Hope you enjoyed that. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.